Oh, hello, YouTubers. Welcome to another edition of WAP Vocabulary. We're going to look at a continuation of the growth of the Eastern Empire of the Byzantines, most specifically their influence on what would become Russia. So the terms that we're going to be looking at in this little module are Cyril and Methodius. We'll look at Prince Rurik, and then Vladimir I of Kiev, and finally the Russian Orthodox Church. So let's get started. All of these words have to do with the growth and spread of Byzantine culture into what would become Russia, so the growth of the East. All right, so first, Cyril and Methodius. In order to kind of understand the impact of Cyril and Methodius, it's important to kind of define who they are first. So Cyril and Methodius were two monks. They were missionaries, and their whole effort was to spread the Eastern Orthodox religion, Christianity, Orthodox Christianity, to the Balkans and to the east. These are regions to the north and east of the Byzantine Empire, in order to gain some influence religiously. The significance of these guys is basically that they were able to convert large groups of Slavic-speaking peoples in the East because of their ability to communicate with them in their own language. So they didn't insist on making the Slavic peoples learn Greek, which was their language. They learned the Slavic languages, and in fact they went one step further by devising a written script for Slavic language, which was the Cyrillic alphabet. The Cyrillic alphabet is still used by Slavic-speaking peoples, and they had no problem with performing religious services and writing books, the Bible, into Cyrillic, so that Slavic peoples could understand this religion on their own terms. This was very different from what was going on in the West, where Latin was the language that was used to spread Roman Catholicism, and so it had less appeal to the Slavic peoples because the church was unwilling to translate services and texts into their own languages. So Cyril and Methodius were instrumental in converting all of the East, which later would include Russia, to Eastern Orthodox Christianity, and we'll talk more about that split and difference in a moment. So what had been developing here, and we're gonna look at the next word, which is Rurik, Prince Rurik. So Rurik was of Norse descent. Norse means that he was from let me step back a second. Let me define who he is. Prince Rurik was the first prince of Kiev, and Kiev became a very important city on the trade routes between the people in the north, Norsemen, as they traded and made contact with the Byzantine Empire at Constantinople. So the Byzantines in Constantinople were trading along a trade route along the Dnieper River, and Kiev grew to become a very important city. So Rurik, being the first prince of Kiev, was able to maintain control and give some legitimacy to Kiev, which became an empire in its own right. So this is kind of why he's so significant, is because he was able to kind of put Kiev on the map, so to speak, as far as a royal family. Vladimir I, a couple hundred years later, was made the very significant move and was the first Kievan ruler to convert to Christianity. So Vladimir I converted to Eastern Orthodox Christianity. And this kind of goes to the first question that I asked you at the beginning of this chapter, which is, why did he choose Christianity? Well, he had a host of other religions that he could have converted to, Vladimir I, but he chose Christianity as kind of the obvious choice for a couple of reasons. First, he had the most contact with Eastern Orthodox religion because Constantinople was the main trading partner and was the main kind of political influence on Kiev, and so it kind of made sense that he would choose Eastern Orthodox Christianity. In the West, he didn't want to have the Pope kind of pulling the strings for him. He wanted to have leadership position where the Pope didn't impede. Islam, he could have chosen Islam because there were some powerful Islamic forces in the area as well. But the rumor had it that he liked to drink too much to accept Islam. And then Judaism he said it was too small of a religion and that it wouldn't hold power over a centralized state. So, for whatever the reason, the most obvious choice was Eastern Orthodox Christianity because a lot of the people in the region were already exposed to this religion through the work of Cyril and Methodius. So, Vladimir I converted, and this kind of sealed the fate for uh, the rest of what would become the Russian people, and their religion would become Russian Orthodox Christianity. Russian Orthodox Christianity is just the Russian branch of the Eastern Orthodox Church. And the Eastern Orthodox Church, as you well know, split from the Western Roman Catholic Church in about 1050 when the Eastern emperors were kind of and the religious leaders were kind of tired of the Pope's hold and sway on all things religious. So that split between Roman Catholicism and Eastern Orthodoxy. And they chose that word orthodoxy for a reason. The word orthodoxy kind of means like the legitimate or the clear rules or the right way, the correct way. So orthodoxy Christianity is kind of like saying, well, this is the right way to be Christian. Basically saying that the Roman Catholics were doing it wrong. So there you go. There's the split between the West and Eastern Church and kind of the growth of the Russians. So we'll come back next time and talk about some of the early history of the Russians and the impact of the Mongols. Until then, be awesome.